Alright, so yeah, I just finished that Storm Only Run video. What's next on the video list? I'll just ask Young Xehanort. Yo, YX, what's next on the agenda?
Don't call me that like we're on good terms, but the next video is just Beyblade related.
Oh yeah, Gingka versus Damian. Well, I guess I'll hop to it then. I don't want to keep the people waiting. Alright, so yeah, let's just get my final thoughts out the way of this fight. It's an alright fight. Nothing good, nothing bad. I'll go over it more in the final section, right? Why I think it's an alright fight. Well, you know, this is what this video for, the goods and the bads, right? But yeah, my final thoughts on it, it's an alright fight. Nothing good, but nothing horrible. Beyblade has much better fights than this one, and I just believe that it just failed in some areas. And just, you know, did some things well, but failed there too. So yeah, 3, 2, 1, let it rip! One good thing about this fight is it's cool, right? Just simply cool. It looks great, like that scene for example. It just has memorable moments like that, to where it just looks good. The animators tried their best with this fight, and it was fitting because this is the final fight of the tournament. Another thing I liked about this fight is how they characterized Gingka. They mostly wanted to focus on him this time, to where, and just shine to where he had to fight for his friends, knowing that he wasn't in the world championships alone, and he took them into the world as well, all their spirits. And with Julian, to where he has lines in the fight to where he says, what were we fighting for? And him trying to master Galaxy's Pegasus, even him coming to that realization to where, or how to master Pegasus is them coming together. But in this fight, I definitely love how, sorry for the audio cut, I was stuttering too much. But yeah, going back to what I like about this part is how Gingka has more of this personal shine on him, to where he says lines like these, to where if he loses to Damian, he won't be able to stand up to the real bladers out there. I don't want to misconstrue this by like saying it's only personal to Gingka, right? Because he still has lines like, we are fighting for this. We are, like him and his friends are, for the sake of everybody, right? But it does shine more of a light on Gingka this time, to where it was like I was saying before, just Shine and Julian, but now it's like mostly Gingka this time, to where he can't lose to Damian. He has to show him personally on what real Blader spirit is, and that's one thing I like about this fight, to where it's shining more of a personal light on Gingka, right? And it's like, it puts the friendship in the background a bit, and focuses on him more in his pride. Like for example, what I showed previously, the line to where if I lose to a Blader like you, I can't stand to the real Bladers. And this scene to where he says Pegasus spoke to him and came to him that day. Alright, so my favorite thing about this fight is the build up to it, which is sad because it's not the actual fight. But yes, the build up to the fight is really good. I want to go over the arrangement system when it started, or hints to it when it started. So yeah, hopefully you could just stay with me until we make it there. The arrangement system build-up would start up here, right, in episode 81. This one. Alright, why'd I read out my text? But yeah, this is where we meet Zio, right? To where Masamune's surprised, as Gingka would be interrupted by him saying he was weak, right? This is why Masamune is so surprised, even though Masamune states that he had twice as much drive, but he couldn't find a spirit in Beyblade, so he couldn't become strong like him or Toby. Which made Masamune so confused on why he's even here. And with subtle stuff like this, right, to where we see Zio in the pod in this episode, and then we see Damian in this episode too, right? Then with Ryuga saying results of arrangement or whatever, right? And even Zio having like a bit of a mental breakdown and going on about it more, just slowly builds up to the fight, right? Which sucks because it's not actually the Damian versus Gingka fight, right? But yeah, then it's finally revealed on what's going on, to where we finally see the arrangement system and how these Bladers weren't exceptional, they weren't skilled, so how they gain stronger mid-match, right? So yeah, and it's also stated that strong Bladers like Gingka can also go through certain boost and power mid-match. Example, him versus Damian, to where he got stronger in the Hades Drive. But I also like this, to where it's like, they're also talking about it's difficult to decide whether this is cheating or not, because these are these Bladers' abilities, they're just being drawn out, but in a horrible way, to where it's like, okay, mentally and physically, it's ending these Bladers' career, with the Dark Nebula reveal not being too special. But this also explains why Ryuga is also tied with these people, which helps us fight greatly because it adds all this stuff to the fight to where it's like Jinga's going to have to end all of this in this fight, right? Because they're not only invading the world tournament, but also technically cheating. I don't know, I don't want to talk about it too much. I'll probably make that a separate video actually. It's interesting whether the arrangement system is cheating or not. But yeah, but he has to like end this right now and at least win the tournament for the real Blizzards that got mentally and physically damaged, right? Even though that's not a part of Jinga's mind, it just adds all this stuff to the fight to show, yeah, this is just no more fight anymore. Okay, technically there were some fights that weren't just fights, right? It was like more about friendship and like, yeah, I'm taking you in the world with me, like with the Shine, but this is like more of serious fighting towards like, okay, this is not just being about number one, and this is all about ending this like arrangement system and proving these guys are wrong. But yeah, it just goes to give the fight a bit of build up, right? Which a lot of other fights have in this Metal Masters, but I feel like this is the most important build up because it's not just like winning and becoming number one, it's also about stopping the arrangement system, and also for Jinga, like I said in his section, proving them wrong. Okay, so my final like, Damian himself, not as a character really, but as a wall, right? To where, when we go back to the Dark Nebula stuff, where it was slightly hinted at with Ryuga mentioning Doji to Ziggurat, he said, don't compare me to a snake like Doji, right? Which, so he hints at it, right? But then we get the reveal of it to where it wasn't too special, to where it's like they just translated the Hades part of Hades Inc. and it went to Dark Nebula, right? But yeah, that's when we get the confirmation that this Damian guy is a perfect match for Jinga. And after seeing what he did to Team Julian, or you know, Team Excalibur, right, it sets him up good, right, to where he not only has a beef with Jinga, well, not him personally, but Jinga has one, to where it's like, okay, he hurt Tsubasa and you, but then he also shows how intimidating he is after being Excalibur, the next team to really test the limits of Jinga. While the Garcias did push them, it was more so in a cheating way, not in a fair way. When Excalibur fought fair, and they managed to, you know, push them to the edge. But Damian managed to beat them with ease, and yeah, this is why I think he's a good wall, right? Because he not only is smart and cunning, tricking Julian to go into fight with boost mode, then he gets left rotation information on Julian, showing that he's smart. Then he destroys Julian, Wales, and Sophie, showing how good of a wall he is. Him as a character though, I don't find him too interesting. Like I mentioned, he's smart with tricking Julian into having a three-way battle. And he also is menacing with breaking down Julian and starting his character arc. So yeah, he has good stuff like that, right? And his backstory is sad, knowing that he got manipulated into this. But as a character, I'm not too interested in him. Especially since he just... I'm not trying to bash on him for losing a lot, but he loses to like bad circumstances a lot, to where it's like, I'll go in that to my bad section, right? But he just loses in certain circumstances where he shouldn't. But yeah, I think Damian's a great wall because the writers did a good job to show how strong he is with somewhat of an interesting character there, right? With him getting manipulated as a child to be Ziggurat's pawn, which is sad for him, but you know, that's enough about Damian. And I also do like the concept of him being Jinga's final opponent, right? It's directly matched for him. Like little things like Hades Kirkx also being a stamina type. But it doesn't really come into the fight that much. But yeah, that's all I have to say about good about the fight. So yeah, let's move on to the bad. One thing I didn't like about this fight, well, the first thing, right, is the build up to it, which is weird, but hear me out. It's mostly the episode with the Blader DJs, right, to where they're trying to decide who will voice the final battle, which you won't miss anything of, really. It's a funny episode, one of my favorites, but you won't miss anything, really. All you'll just miss is the information that, yes, two Blader DJs are voicing the final battle, which isn't too important, but it still was a funny episode. I loved it. But it's mostly for the gang, for, like, okay, from their perspective, to where it's like, Damian has beat Team Excalibur, you and Tsubasa, and Jinga and Masamune choose their time to, like, in the Blader DJ episode, to just eat and, you know, just like resist the urge to have a battle, not actually train or be worried about Starbreaker, really. Now, I do like how they went to go get information on Starbreaker. Now, that's good, right? Because it shows that they're cautious and like, okay. But then it's like after that, after seeing their power, they're not training at all. And this is one thing I don't like about Metal Masters at the end, that I think is a problem, right? But it's the power scaling. Now. I'll go into that later, but I think the power scaling is a bit off because it's like we don't see Gingka train, or we just know he mastered his Beyblade, right? We don't see him train after the Garcia fight or before the Garcia fight, really. They're mostly just having fun and kicking it. But he's just stronger than Team Excalibur for some reason, right? To beat Damian. And this goes into the next problem that I'm going to go with power scaling, right? But it's like, no, I don't want to explain it too much. Let's just go to the next section. Second problem I have with this fight, power scaling. Okay, so yeah, let's get into the power scaling. I'm gonna lose my breath talking again. But yeah, so the power scaling. Let's just be blunt with it. I don't think Gingka deserved to win this fight by any means, right? Because I'll go over this, right? We never seen Gingka train after Julian to where that's where he would be pushed to use Pegasus' power for his maximum strength. This was where we finally see Pegasus live up to its name. Him being the winged horse that soars through space, known for his speed and his stamina. Okay, good. Now, after that fight, we don't see him train, really. Like, he fights the Garcias, but even before that, he's just like mostly joking around on a boat and getting intel on them. Which is good that he's having fun and he's getting intel, but not really training, right? He's not really getting stronger. Then let's go after the Garcia fight to where it's like, okay, after seeing Starbreaker and their power, hell, even after they hurt Tsubasa and Yu, he's not taking this like seriously enough to where he's training. He's just mostly goofing off, like I stated in the previous point. But it's just like all these factors just make it to where like, okay, we're not seeing him train while Damian beat Excalibur with little ease, mind you. Especially Sophie and Wales, to where those people aren't in the joke too. They even managed to beat Gingka at one. But Gingka did get stronger, so I won't go into that much. But it's just still the fact that it's like, okay, he managed to beat Sophie and Wales with Julian, right, who got stronger, training much more, getting new abilities, getting stronger with Medusa. Okay, I'm losing my breath. Let me calm down. Okay, yeah. But yeah, he's just stronger than Julian, Wales, and Sophie during this moment. Like, let's point out some weird instances in the Gingka vs. Damian fight. The Stormbringer scene, to where Gingka got more powerful during it, but for some reason, Damian was worried because he easily batted away. Like, why was he worried if he can easily just bat it away? Was Pegasus just faster than him at that point? I assume he was, right? Because that's what Pegasus is known for. He's the fastest Beyblade, or one of the fastest. But yeah, Damian was just worried for no reason. And after he got stronger, this is after Gingka's barrage attack made him wobble. Mind you, that did no damage. But that's still something I want to point out. If he could at least do something to make him wobble, why didn't Stormbringer do any damage of note? Like, why? Hell, when he says that he goes full power during that scene in Hades, how do you expect me to take it seriously to where Damian wasn't trying, right? Gingka got stronger during this fight. Then Damian said it himself before he went full power, even to where Madoka says is that Damian's and Hades Kervic's power is off the charts. He gets stronger, right? That's not him using his full power. And it's just like, okay, he's just beating Gingka around. How do you want me to believe that, okay, yeah, Gingka can beat this? No. Even after him using his full power, he still gets slapped around a bit. And then while he does manage to break it out of Hades' gate, he's the one in the fireball exchange where he gets knocked out. And not do any real damage or note to Damian. So it's like, okay. Well, that's weird. So it's like, it's not for the wobbling scene, he did no damage. Stormbringer, he definitely did no damage. And then with the him leaving Hades Gate, that did some damage, I assume. But yeah, so he basically won the fight with like 1 damage, I'm assuming. Then the rest of it came from Stormbringer. Remember, Haze Kerbex is a stamina type, right? He has the type of advantage against Ginga, to where it's like, okay, he could kind of wobble out this situation. He got better stamina, but it's like Ginga just managed to like do one minor damage to him. Even he doesn't like take it a note. Like he just breaks out of Hades Gate. Well, I just realized that. He breaks out of Hades Gate without even using a special move. Let's not talk about it right now. But yeah, he just managed to beat Damian's special move after he was getting thrashed this whole fight. Then he just managed to beat him with just Stardust Driver. It's just like, my main problem with this is that Ginga was never shown training. We just know he has a mastered Beyblade. Never training, right? Damian got stronger after his Julian fight because he took another arrangement. Then it's just like, okay. What do we do then? Ginga is just stronger than Julian. He beats Damian for some reason with just one move that only did any note of damage, with him leaving Katie's Gate, then with just Stardust Driver. It's just weird. I feel like the writers could have done it better. Now let's get on to my final dislike about this. My final problem about this fight is some storytelling aspect. I'm sorry I keep going back to it, but the Stormburger scene, right? I dislike that scene for a lot of reasons. And I feel like if they removed the scene or like just like did it better, then I would have a lot less problems with this fight. Hell, I'd probably make it a 6 or 7 out of 10. But yeah, it's just the concept of what Ginga was saying during that point, to where the Blader chooses the Bay and the Bay chooses the Blader. Like these scenes I'm showing right here, to where Kenta says that he wants to do it with Sagittario, to where he wants to become strong with Sagittario. That's like an instance to where I could point out that message to where it's like, okay, yeah. Scenes like that really goes to show Ginga's point. And especially with Galaxy Pegasus, who chose him, and many tried to get Galaxy Pegasus, but none has claimed Pegasus. And the Stormburger scene would have been a perfect scene to turn the tides of the battle, but no, he just loses. And it just goes to another scene I want to talk about, but let's go back a bit on this Blader thing. It's just that Damian has his Blade that he just got, and he's just whooping Ginga's like tushy. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cuss, but he's just whooping Ginga's tushy easily, and they try to make no real effort to like show them as equal until Ginga's like, yes, I go full power, which is like the only time when the fight starts getting closer. Hell, that when Ginga says as the special move of my Pegasus and me hearts becoming one, it just didn't do anything. He was just really surprised by it. To where it's like, why was that scene even there if he was going to do nothing with it? And Stormburger just came back to lose. And with another thing I want to talk about is the picture I'm showing right now, which is going to be the finale of this. But it's like, the base, Ginga just made this fact, right? Like the base spirit looks weak against science. I felt like they didn't do this topic that they wanted to tackle. Not a serious one, but mostly a Beyblade one. But I felt like they didn't do this message well for the Beyblade. Like, Ginga really wanted to show that he can do this, especially for how personal it was for him. Like I mentioned the Ginga section, these were the things I was talking about with some story elements. I think this wasn't done well because not only Ginga was just getting whooped this fight, he just got lucky through the plot, right, and managed to win. He did no real damage up until now. Well, nothing of note, right? But then he just like wins. I know after he starts going full power, then it's like, okay, Damian, like, he's having a harder time, and Ginga's also tanking more hits as well, right? And that's one thing I appreciate. But then I can't ignore like all the things that Ginga had to go through to at least even beat Damian. Sorry for the audio cut. But yeah, I just feel like Ginga did not do his job well here, or the writers didn't do their job well here, because Ginga's just getting ragdolled by this guy who just got this Beyblade, who just, I won't say the arrangement is cheating, right? I'll make that on video topic because I think that's interesting. But it's just like this random guy who just like goes against Ginga's like concept and like morals, right? He just like single-handedly beat him with little effort, and it just takes Ginga one attack to win, which sucks. One fight I think that actually did this concept well was you versus Alexi, to where you not only used his base spirit but also tactics, right? When he had all the disadvantages, he couldn't use his special move, and he was a bit stressed out with Gingka yelling at him constantly. But it was like he used his tactics and his own base spirit to overcome Alexi, who also didn't believe in the base spirit, and he made him start believing. I can't go into that whole topic right away, but still. Overall, I just think this fight's not too good. It's just an alright fight, bro. 5 out of 10 for me, but yeah. I'm gonna end it right here.